Folks, we got a lot to talk about today. Yes, welcome to part 2 of looking at the revealed cards for Legends of the Force, the 5th set of Star Wars Unlimited. In our first part of our video, we covered all of this and I gave some thoughts on, all the cards we gotten, my enjoyment of seeing Legends cards coming into the game, showing us that Fantasy Flight Games is really going to take a look at the Legends archetype, especially because we got a lot of stuff from the KOTOR or Knights of the Old Republic games, which means that we may get more stuff from Knights of the Old Republic because there is still a lot more stuff they can do, especially Knights of the Republic 2 gave us a lot of good characters like Nihilus, which I think would be a really cool leader. But yeah, after that video dropped, after I recorded and then after I dropped, we got a whole lot more cards revealed in this game. This set is rounding out to be a very interesting set. I think there's going to be a lot of interesting deck building mechanics here. I think there's going to be a lot of interesting things to play this set. And yeah, we got like all our bases now. We got a whole bunch of new cards. We got an absolutely broken card that every blue strategy is going to be running, that everybody who can play a blue base is going to be using. But yeah, let's discuss about it. So anyways, we got some Night Sisters. Yes, we got Mother Talzin. If you don't know, the Night Sisters are Sith users, dark side users. They're not really Sith. They're more like witches with magic that manipulate the essence of the Force. I remember from one of the games, I think it was Empire at War, the second one, the redo game that kind of gave us like the 𝐒𝐓𝐀𝐘 Consortium, which I think would be a really cool thing if they could bring like the 𝐒𝐓𝐃 Consortium characters from Empire at War and bring them into Star Wars Unlimited. I think that would be really cool. It definitely would be like Legends because they're non-canonical to Star Wars, if I believe so. But yes, so Mother Talzin, the Knight, and then in that game, the Night Sisters could ride rain cars, which I think is really cool if they could give us like a way to ride rain cars. But yes, so we have Mother Talzin and a few Night Sisters. We already have a daughter of Dathomir, I believe from set 3. But again, the Night Sisters are also impactful to the Ahsoka show as well. They can use their magic to resurrect the dead if you've ever seen Star Wars: The Clone Wars and the Ahsoka series. Anyways, Mother Talzin is action, tapper, use the Force. You lose your token, give a unit -1/-1, and then on her front side, on attack, you may give a unit -1/-1. I mean, it's not bad, don't get me wrong. It's a unique idea to give a bunch of stuff -1/-1, but we do have some other Night Sisters to play around with. We have Karis. Also, by the way, 𝐒𝐓𝐾𝐄 Ventress is a Night Sister as well. She comes from Dathomir. And then the males are, like Maul and Asajj are the males that live on Dathomir. So, Karis, when defeated, may use the Force, basically burn your token. If you do give it some -2/-2, that's not too bad in my opinion. Again, the aspect here of being able to give those -2/-2, which is really good. Again, this is wholly what Blue really likes to do, is like give these minuses all over the place, and then you can control the board state by smashing into stuff. And then we have Talzin's Assassin. When played, burn your first token, give something -3/-3. We have Old Daka. She's the one that resurrects all of the dead Night Sisters when Count Dooku decides to send Grievous to attack Dathomir. When played, you may defeat a friendly Night unit. Again, they all have Night in their thing, basically because they're Night Sisters. Not named herself. Then you may play that unit from your discard pile for free. Basically, this is really good, especially with the Night Sister Warrior, who has Night in its title here. So when defeated, you draw a card, and then basically you can resurrect her. So basically you can kill it, swing with it, kill it, draw a card, and then resurrect it back out of your graveyard for free. So a good little stuff, couple of things for the Night Sisters. Not a lot of Night Sister stuff, and I'm not really sold on Mother Talzin as a leader. That -1/-1 is interesting, but unless we see some more cards that can manipulate with Mother Talzin, I'm not sold on her. What I am sold is Doom. This creature right here, this Force creature that I'm not even sure what series it even comes from. When the regroup phase starts, again, the regroup phase is after both players have continually passed, that is pass and claim, or they both soft passed. You go to the regroup phase where you draw your 2 cards. You're going to put one of your cards in your hand face down and as a resource. Again, you don't have to do that. especially in the late game. For a lot of decks, they don't really need to do that anymore. And then you restand everything. So when that happens, when the regroup phase starts, give an experience token to each other friendly non-vehicle unit. Again, this is another creature that works really well with 𝐂𝐐, or really with anyone with the potential of being in blue. He is double blue, so a lot of double blue decks. I could see Ray 100% playing with this. I can see Nebula Ignition becoming even more prominent in blue strategies because now you'll have a bunch of stuff upgraded. This is going to make a whole lot of strategies come to life. Even if you're just mono blue, basically either mono blue on your leader or mono blue on your base, you can still pay 6 to bring him out, but I see him being played in a lot more mono blue strategies. Like I like Iden double blue. This is probably going to go in Iden double blue in a way, but I think Iden double blue is really like one of the only strategies. I don't really see her. I want to try it out in Iden double blue, but Iden double blue feels more like a control strategy where I'm playing all the control cards and telling you to come attack me, and I'm just going to control your base and force you to have to figure out how to come and attack me while I'm knocking everything out before it even gets a swing in a turn. So, but I definitely will say, double blue Ray 100% will be using this. I can see double blue 𝐂𝐐 also running this because of his nature of shielded and his way of doing stuff with shields. So yeah, very, very strong card. Only a rare, by the way, but again, as a reminder, legendaries have become a lot easier to pull in sets. Rares have become a lot harder to pull in sets. I could definitely see also this card getting a treatment for prestige. I could definitely see it getting a prestige treatment just because of how good it is. But nonetheless, really good card here. Whether you're mono blue or whether you're running double blue, this card is going to be a staple in a lot of decks going forward. Especially even probably after rotation, a lot of decks can still manipulate this. Our tour Onslaught is just basically the K turn for force units. You just restand a force unit with 4 or less power. Not bad. We got, of course, Soreso Stance. Play a force unit from your hand, paying its cost, and give a shield token to it. Not a really bad thing to be able to bring in, say, a force unit that has ambush, and then being able to then give them a shield so they can ambush in, smash off the shield, and then come out. It's just really nice as well, just because it's mono blue, so you don't need to be heroic to really use this card. I could also see this card being used in a lot of strategies like, say, 𝐂𝐐 to bring out the 4-drop 𝐂𝐐 so that you then have a shield on it so your opponent immediately doesn't just kill off the 𝐂𝐐 before you start the mills. So I think there is some viability to playing this card. It'll kind of just matter how many decks actually play a lot more force units. I mean, I do see a lot of decks playing force units, don't get me wrong. The force is definitely going to be everywhere once that 5 drops. Anyways, let's talk about each of the bases. So anyways, we have Virgin's Temple. When the regrouping phase starts, you control a unit with 4 or more remaining HP. The force is with you. Basically, as long as you control anything with 4 or more remaining HP, just create a force token. We have Mystic Monastery. Action. The force is with you. You just basically create the token, but again, this one's a little more restrictive. You can only do it 3 times in the entire game. So again, games go game 1, 2, and 3. So basically, throughout an entirety of an entire round, you have 9 triggers of this base. Not really sold on this one being played a lot more than I see this one being played a little bit more. For our red rare, again, these are the rares right now. So we have the blue rare. Don't have a normal blue. The normal blue is the one we're going to get from the structure deck. The green normal is the one we're getting in the structure deck. For the red rare base, when a friend unit deals 3 or more combat damage to an enemy base, the force is with you. I think this is going to see a lot of play, especially in strategies like it just says, so more combat damage. So if I thought I read that as just damage to the base, which means that like Boba Fett and indirect damage can easily make this happen, which I guess that's a reason why they wouldn't do that, because that would be absolutely broken. But nonetheless, If you're looking to be hyper aggressive, that's a great way to make the force token. Again, I believe you can only have one force token up at any one time. So this base and this base really do help around to make sure you're always having that force token to always use said force token. The common red base of Fortress Vader. When a friendly force unit attacks, the force is with you. Again, really nice one, just really good here. If it's just a force unit swinging, just make the force. You don't have to deal combat damage or anything like that. The commons also seem to be the 28 health bases, and the rares are 25, which is very interesting. The rare yellow base, Tomb of Elaram, action, exhaust a friendly unit, the force is with you. So a very interesting one, kind of what Akbar does, where Akbar typically would rest your own stuff and then basically create an X-Wing token. I can see this being played like with an Akbar strategy. Yeah, it's a lot of exhausting, but I think if you played enough Sentinels in your strategy, especially Sentinels with Akbar, you could play a bunch of Sentinels, rest all your Sentinels. It doesn't matter if they can attack or not. Your opponent still has to go through them, and then create X-Wings, and then you can rest those X-Wings with the base to create the token. Again, I'm not sold on this one. I don't really like the action of having to rest my own stuff to then have to create force tokens. I could definitely see if we get Sentinel heavy strategies going along with this deck, because that's be the only reason I rest my own stuff is if I was going to run a Sentinel heavy strategy. So that I can at least make sure my life is protected at all times, because I'm going to lose that on all those attacks. Again, you could also do it probably in a blue strategy, maybe like a blue villainy strategy, because then it wouldn't really matter, because then you could play something, rest it, and I would still have all of my abilities to like swing and deal damage from swing and then kill stuff off with all my good kill cards. The yellow common base, Crystal Caves. When a friendly force unit attacks, just create a force token. So the red and the yellow, and I believe the green and the blue common are also the same as well. I think when a friendly force unit attacks, so the green and blue when a friendly force unit attacks, and then this is when a friendly force unit attacks. So I could definitely see the commons being the more utilized bases, just because you just literally need a force unit to swing, and if a lot of decks are playing force units, you'll always have that force token active on you. I feel that rares are going to be situational to when they're really played. I feel like the green one is going to be one of those that I just don't know if it's really going to be played, because it's the toughest one to actually keep going, because you only 3 times throughout the entirety of the game are you capable of creating the force. The red one is very easy. That's what this entire game's about, smashing into people's bases. Blue also is a good one. Again, if you have a lot of high class value guys, especially if you play like a blue-green strategy, then you'll have a lot of stuff that has 4 power or more still remaining, and you'll be able to make that force token. But in the beginning, I have more of a feeling that the normal bases are probably going to be played more commonly until people really start like tinkering with the rare bases. Interesting, we're not getting a uncommon or a no color base this time. Very interesting. But again, we still have quite a ways before, of course, this set till we get all the cards officially from the set. But anyways, we have Pong Krell from the goodness of heroicy to villainy. This is, of course, after Captain Coat. Rex discovers he is actually manipulating the entirety of the Battle of Mumbai. I think, no, it's not Mumbai. Yes, it is Mumbai, where he learns that he's just trying to bring up the casualties so that he can then officially go under Count Dooku, because he's seen a sign of a new age coming. But anyway, he has grit, which is really good for the Asajj leader, because again, he's a 2/9, so I mean there's a lot of health this guy can get. When this unit completes an attack and survives, you may defeat a unit with less remaining HP than this unit's power. Really good. So it just completes an attack and survives. So that's the aspect right there. The fact is that you can still swing on base. It did technically complete an attack. It technically did survive the attack. But I could definitely see this being used with Asajj because of her ability to deal damage, and he's a grit card on him. And well, as if you can get more and more grit on him, this guy is going to get nasty very fast, very quick. Not a bad card overall. Then we have the Ogda Bogdo. I don't know where this thing from. This creature can't attack unless it's damaged. When this unit attacks and defeats a unit, he'll do damage from this unit. A very interesting creature, that is for sure. The fact is that it's very restrictive on the fact that it can't attack unless it's damaged. But I don't think that's anything bad about it. Again, another really good card for 𝐒𝐍𝐍. The fact is that it always heals 2 off of it. So the fact is the matter, it can always heal itself after each attack. Also, it's when a unit attacks and when this unit attacks and defeats a unit, so it doesn't technically have to survive. So technically, if you swing over something with 4 on it, you can still heal 2 damage. So it's very interesting. I see also some ways to maybe turn this into a sentinel, so that like diversion to turn it into a sentinel on the ground, so your opponent has to swing into it, and then you can swing back and kill something else. But nonetheless, I don't see a lot of playability with it other than like a 𝐒𝐍𝐍 because of this really, really tight restriction on it. But it makes sense why. It's a 3-cost 5/5. And then we have 𝐒𝐻𝐿. I don't think I ever said his name correct, but 𝐒𝐻𝐿. Anyway, he has Sentinel. When this unit is attacked, before damage calculation is dealt, you may use the Force, basically lose your token. If you do, the attacker gets -2, -0 for the turn. Actually, not a pretty bad Sentinel here. Again, a really good Sentinel, especially if you can get if you have a way to constantly get back your Force token, because he is a Force unit, so meaning that you can swing, get the Force token back. He's a Sentinel, which means that he can always burn the Force so that he can always give something -2. Which I think is pretty cool overall. He's not bad. I definitely see him. I definitely see Pong Krell getting prestige treatment. And 𝐒𝐻𝐿 definitely feels like this art right here feels like it's going to get a prestige treatment. Let's not kid ourselves. The Force is with us. I am one with the Force. The Force is with me. I am one with the Force. But nonetheless, a pretty unique card. I don't think groundbreaking by any means, but pretty cool. We have 𝐒𝐓𝐃𝐿. When defeated, you may use the Force. If you do, put this card to your play as a resource. Just a way to ramp. Burn your Force to get a ramp card. It's really good. I'm glad green's getting some better ramp ability, but this feels way more restrictive than, say, Super Laser Technician. It basically just says, die, come into my resources. This just feels kind of more restrictive. And not mention you have to burn a Force token to get him as a resource. And he doesn't even come into play ready. He comes in exhausted. So yeah, I'm not sold on it, but still a 4/5 that can potentially turn it into a resource, I don't think is half bad. But it's a little sad that this is kind of how green Heroic is ramping a little bit instead of how green Villainy has a way better way to ramp. Paladin Training Corvette. When played, you can get an experience token to up to 3 Force units. Not bad. I mean, literally just, if you really heavy on the Force guys, bring this out. It's actually pretty good in Hera. You can actually run this in Hera, because Hera's already green Heroic naturally. So you can run this in Hera, and then that can give you the ability, because you have Ezra's, you'll have both Ezra's, you'll have both Sabines, you have Kanan Jarrus. So that means you can give a lot of things, experience tokens, because those are all Force characters, which is pretty nice. We have Kelleron Beku, or something like that. When placed, switch top 7 cards of your deck for a unit, reveal and play, it costs 3 less. Okay, not bad. I mean, for a 7/7 that can look at top 7 cards and then reveal and play something for 3 less, I don't think that's half bad. But again, I think 7 U-Wing reinforcements is at 7, and that can allow me to play up to so many units for an equal cost. I think it's going to probably see a little more play than maybe him, but I could definitely see this guy playing out a little bit more, because again, now he's a 7/7 body where U-Wing Assault is just bring out maybe 3 guys, and then next turn your opponent has to deal with 3 guys. But nonetheless, I think he may see some play. I just think U-Wing Assault just kind of is a little better than him. Luminous Beings. Where's my Force Ghosts? Put up to 3 Force units from your discard pile on the bottom of your deck, and a random order. Give that many units +4/+4 for this faith. I think it's just a really good closeout card in the late game. Just basically put a couple Force guys in the bottom of your deck, close out the game really fast, really quick. That's what I'm going to say about that one. It's actually not a bad card to help close out game states. We got another Maz. When played, you may attack with a Force unit, it gets +2/+0 for this attack. Not bad. Again, basically we've seen this before with like Leia's and stuff. Attack with a pilot, get a restore and a plus something. So again, just Maz just giving more of that concept of play this, swing with Force Guy, get a kind of a buff. So anyways, that's a lot of the green reveal. Let's move into some red reveals. We got Acolyte of the Beyond. On attack with defeat, the Force is with you. As we can see right here, Villainy is already getting some nice cards to help make sure we constantly make sure we got the Force. So again, a really nice card because I think we're going to need to get some cards that basically allow you to constantly get the Force naturally by doing things without using the base. Because then that basically kind of mutes the whole other bases in the rest of the game, especially if you want to use characters that need to be burning Force tokens. If you kind of can't really use, say, can't really gain the Force without anything. So hopefully we'll see a card come in for Heroic as well. But so far only Red Villainy is going to be able to create Force tokens outside of having the base. We got the Strike Ship. Does have Raid, which is pretty nice for 2, and does have Overwhelm. This actually is a pretty nice card right there, not a bad one. We have Thralls of the Coven, again, Knight as well. So again, we have another card that Old Daka can technically kill off. For a Raid 3, it's already a 6/7. I think that's actually a pretty nice one there as well. Sith Holocron, attached to a Force unit, specifically a Force unit. Attached unit gains on attack, you may deal 2 damage to a friendly unit. If you do, this unit gets +2/+0 for this attack. There's a lot of stuff that has grit on it. This is just another way to just get more grit going up. I think 𝐒𝐓𝐀𝐾 Ventress can actually play this probably a little bit because of that ability of on attack to deal that 2 damage to a friendly thing, which then pushes up those grit abilities to then get that +2 on something else. So +2 for that attack. So I could definitely see like 𝐒𝐓𝐾 using this. A lot of decks using this because of the effect of getting that +2 isn't bad, but I think it's still going to be kind of circumstantial what decks really are going to be able to utilize this, because again, you have to deal damage to your own stuff, but grit strategies I think will definitely be using a lot of the Sith Holocron. Witch of the Mist, another Knight, the new hidden keyword, which again is a new keyword for this game. This unit can attack if it was played this phase, which again is really nice because, honestly, a really nice keyword that just makes it a lot harder to get units off the board the turn they come in. Besides, of course, getting nuked off by blue control spells. Infused Brawler. When played, you may use the Force if you do give 2 experience tokens to a unit, and when this unit completes attack, defeat an experience token on it. So basically, you become a 4/4 on your first attack, and then after that, you'll become a 3/3, and then you'll go back to a 2/2. Not a bad thing, any honesty. So anyways, we did talk about how Red has the ability to create the Force token outside of the base. Here is Youngling Padawan. When played, the Force is with you. Unfortunately, that is all it gets. This is still probably the best outside of the base to create the Force. This is lackluster. I'm going to say that. If it had also been on attack, when played on attack, I think that would have been a whole lot better. But anyways, we got the J-type Nebulan Starship from Naboo from the first movie. When played, draw a card. When defeated, discard a card from your hand. Basically, this is the exact same thing as the Politician from set 3. That is the exact same thing, but it's a ground unit, and I think it's 1/5 or 2/5 or something like that, where it's when played, draw a card. When defeated, discard a card from your hand. So it's the exact same thing. We just happen to have this now in the sky, which isn't bad. And I think the other one is just a mono yellow. We have Depa Bilaba, Ambush and Saboteur. Not bad at all. A 6 costed ambush at 7/5/7 with Saboteur, which is actually pretty nice as well. So not bad. Really good card there. Just good for her. Just more good heroic villainy stuff. Cunning heroic, because this strategy just needs more good things. Qui-Gon Jinn's lightsaber, the specialty rare card that will come in the Qui-Gon Jinn starter set. And again, like I said, usually when it's a named lightsaber, usually the best benefit is attaching it to the named character. This can attach, of course, to the Qui-Gon Jinn leader or the Qui-Gon Jinn unit, by the way. When played, if the attached unit is Qui-Gon Jinn, You may exhaust any number of units with a buying cost of 6 or less, and it's a +3/+1. Really like that. Just a really good just rest card for anything with Qui-Gon Jinn. So again, if we get more Qui-Gon Jinns coming into the game, this lightsaber becomes more and more prominent. I think Maul's lightsaber has a little more prominency because we have the Maul in green, we have Maul red, we have the Maul leader, and then of course we have the new Maul leader, but I feel like Maul's lightsaber is probably going to be played on the set 3 Maul, because then we also have set 3's Maul that can do double attacks. That's a legendary for set 3, and then also we have the green Maul from set 2. So nonetheless, if we could see a couple more Qui-Gon Jinns, maybe in the future this becomes a little more prominent. But we have 2 Qui-Gon Jinns right now. We have the leader and we have the unit. Not bad. I mean, it's really good just rest a bunch of things. We have Impossible Escape. You may exhaust a friendly unit or use the Force, basically either or. If you do either exhaust enemy unit and draw a card. I can see this coming into a lot of strategies. It's just mono yellow. So any yellow control strategy is going to be playing this 100%, whether or not they can use the Force or not. It's just going to be a really good just control card overall. Just another really good cunning control card. Again, everyone's going to complain about cunning getting all the good cards, but again, it is restrictive. You have to either use your Force or lose a guy or rest a guy, but nonetheless, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Getting to be able to rest any one of my enemy units and getting to draw a card is not bad. Especially if I happen to have the Force, I can burn the Force, rest a guy, and then just draw a card, and I can still have all my stuff attack that turn, which is still really good. The Will of the Force. Return a non-leader unit to its owner's hand. You may use the Force. Burn your Force token. If you do, that player discards a random card for your hand. Yes, Cunning gets more hand control because Jam Communications and Spark of Rebellion weren't enough for the heroic side. Here's another card the heroic side can use to help burn my opponent's hand into infinity and beyond. But yes, it's a good thing it's not heroic. Otherwise, people would complain about heroic getting all the hand rip abilities. But nonetheless, I do really like this. You can just return anything to hand. Doesn't even non-leader to just their hands. So just get right off the board. You can choose to use the Force if you want to just force them to discard a random card, especially if that's the only card in their hand. Especially if it's random, so they have to shuffle their hand, and then most opponents shuffle their hand, and then you just pick one. So most of the time, not mad about this one because you could just force something back to their hand, and then again, if we have a Force strategy going on in your deck, burning the token to make them the force one card out of their hand, especially let's say that's the only card in their hand, they lose the card. So let's say for a fact, like, it's a big Devastator. Now again, the fact of the matter, like, this is all one effect. So let's say they have a big Devastator on the board. You spin back the Devastator with the Will of the Force before the Devastator swings in and deals stuff. And you're like, it's the only card in their hand. You burn a first token, they have to discard the Devastator because that's technically their only card in their hand. So there you go. You just wiped out your opponent's hand and got rid of one of their big major threats right off the board. So for a lot of late game strategies that might only have a couple cards in hand, which is hard sometimes for certain late game strategy decks, a random card out of their hand is not bad. But a way to stall out the game, which yellow likes to do a lot of, this is still a really good card overall. We got another Kylo Ren. We haven't seen a Rey just yet, but we do have another Kylo here. Just a mono Kylo. Overwhelm. And when you play an upgrade on this unit, you may use the Force. If you do, draw a card. Now again, an upgrade can be a shield token, an experience token, a lightsaber, anything like that gets put on him. You can just burn your Force, draw a card, which I don't think is half bad. I mean, the ability to draw a card for putting an upgrade on him isn't half bad. I don't think he's overly great, but still, it does give you another First Order name as well, which is really good for Phasma because she definitely needs more First Order names. Anyways, we have a look at the shield and the experience. Pretty neat here. That man's twirling those lightsabers everywhere, and we got the training droid and all that. We got another leader here in Kit Fisto. I'm not so much sold on Kit Fisto. He kind of reads like Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker from JTL states that when a fighter attacks, just tap them and then deal 1 damage to something on the board. Kit Fisto decides that we need to pay 1, tap him, and if you attack the Jedi units this phase, deal 2 damage to a unit. So oddly enough, we've decided to increase the cost to utilize Kit Fisto, when he probably could have just been a just 1 damage, just like Luke Skywalker is for attacking with a Jedi unit. And then he is a 1/6, comes out on 5, but the reason for that, he's Saboteur, but gets a +1 for each other friendly Jedi unit. So Kit Fisto really is going to show us that he's definitely on Jedi heavy. If you're going to run Kit Fisto, you're a Jedi heavy deck strategy. You're going to need Jedi everywhere. You're going to need everything with Jedi in the keyword to really make him work. I don't like the front effect because it just feels pointless. He's basically Luke Skywalker, 1 less, and 1 less basically resource to come out. And yeah, I don't like him. I just don't. He's not a good leader. I mean, maybe there's a way to do it if you want to play like a very heavy Jedi like deck. Maybe that's good. But again, his effect just doesn't seem good at all. He kind of even loses it on his backside where he would do that 2 damage and do stuff. I mean, heck, just play like Mace Windu if you want to do damage. Mace is kind of a little good. I think Mace comes out on 6 and is a little stronger. But yeah, I'm not sold on Kit Fisto. I might try him out, but I'm not sold on him as a leader. The village tinder, the Ewoks are here. The Ewoks. They come with hidden and restore 1 for 1. Not bad. Not bad overall. I like the stat line. I like that they have hidden. I like that they're restore 1. So my opponent immediately just can't murk it the turn I come down. So at least I get 1 turn of swinging my Ewoks into something. Again, it is also not a creature, so you can't manipulate it with like Kanan Jarrus or anything like that. But nonetheless, this does show us that we're getting like Ewoks into the game. Yeah, that's about it. Directed by the Force. The Force is with you. You may play a unit from your hand. So basically, you create a Force token, and then you can play a unit from your hand, paying its cost. Which isn't really bad. With a lot of things that are so far like, if played, burn the Force, do this. This actually isn't too bad if we see a lot more like those type of cards coming out. Like, play unit does this if you burn the Force when played. So there's a lot of interesting things I think this card will dictate because it does allow you to literally pay 1, create a Force token, and then pay a guy onto the board. And if that guy has some form or another of a way to do something when played to use the Force, not bad. The artwork also is Old Republic. So this really tells us that I have a feeling that sometime in the future, KOTOR 1, 2, even 3 are all going to get a set themselves. There's probably going to be a set based all around Knights of the Old Republic that are all just going to be Legends cards. Like, we have Dark Nihilus in this game. I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff you can cover in that. I would like a Dark Nihilus. I really would like a Dark Nihilus leader because I like to know how they deal with a guy that absorbs the life force from everything to survive. I think it would be really, really cool. Again, he's a big enemy in KOTOR 2, except not really. He apparently dies really fast in the game. Anyways, Kit Fisto's Ether Sprite. It's interesting we have, of course, now everyone's Ether Sprites. We got Qui-Gon Jinn's Ether Sprite. I'm not exactly sure when he flew that before he died. Because I'm pretty sure the Ether Sprites I thought were a Clone Wars creation. You guys can correct me down in the comments. It's a little weird that Qui-Gon Jinn's got an Ether Sprite. I swore these vehicles only came out amidst the Clone Wars, because the Eta 2 came out amidst the Clone Wars. So anyway, Kit Fisto's Ether Sprite. Saboteur when played may deal damage and number of upgrades on a unit. So, again, we've kind of seen this with Disabling Fang Fighter. Has this ability as well when played, except I think Disabling Fang Fighter kills off 1 upgrade. This is pretty nice. This is basically just trying to go after, this is upgrade hate. You may defeat any number of upgrades on a unit. So, it's just like Fang Fighter, but Disabling Fang only kills 1 upgrade. This can basically wipe the entire of upgrades from an entire ship itself. Now, again, the problem is Chewbacca, for instance, can't be removed, and as same as Luke Skywalker, so you can't use this against those two. But for like Porgs, like the Curious Flock, and you want to get rid of all the experience tokens from it, that's not a bad thing to do. Not a bad card. Again, it does have Jedi in the trait, so again, you just need Jedi in the trait to get Kit Fisto powered up. Xian Flurry. We still don't have Cal Kestis nor his droid yet. We know what the droid does. We actually know what the droid does because of the convention exclusive cards. We don't have the Cal Kestis yet. People are assuming that Cal Kestis will be a mono heroic leader. He won't have any other aspect about him. Play a force unit from your hand, paying its cost. It gains ambush for the phase. Next time it would be deal damage this phase, prevent 2 of that damage. So that's really good. So you could just play a force unit. Anybody who has the force keyword, play them out for ambush by paying their cost, swing in, and technically you can negate 2 damage that unit would take. So not bad. I really do like this. It just Yellow's way of ambushing in stuff to deal with the board presence. I kind of like that. And again, being able to prevent 2 damage isn't bad either. Yaddle. Now again, we saw Yaddle. Yaddle, I believe, is from the Tales of the Jedi. When Count Dooku was still a good guy before he fell to the dark side of the Force. But Yaddle is a Restore 1 because blue, for some reason, everyone's got to have Restore 1 in blue. On attack, each other friendly Jedi unit gains Restore 1 for this phase. I could definitely see like a Kit Fisto blue strategy because again she works with Jedi, so the Aether Sprite gets Restore 1 because Jedi. So I could definitely see like a Kit Fisto blue strategy that allows you to manipulate and have all these Jedi units do a bunch of stuff with Jedi and then give all your Jedi Restore 1. Not bad. Again, and just another really also good blue just card to play out as well, whether or not you're doing Rey or anything like that. It's just really good because, again, if you funny enough, if you attack and give, like, let's say you have Yoda already out. Yoda does a Restore 2. Now he becomes Restore 3 because technically he gets that extra Restore. Rey, for instance, would be a Restore 4. So I could definitely see, like, some Restore strategies coming about with, like, mono blue strategies, which, again, all thanks to this, I really do see Rey Mono Blue coming into fruition. It's definitely one of those decks I'm definitely going to be hunting out to try out because that I think is actually going to be a really good one. Unfortunately, I'm going to need 3 copies of the Wolf at a rare. All right, and then the final 2 cards we got Naiman Strike. Attack with a force unit, even if it's exhausted, gets +1 and an attack a base for this phase. We've seen it already. Dogfight did the exact same thing in set 4. Attack with a space unit, even if exhausted, it can't attack the base. So basically, we're kind of seeing these more control aspect cards of take unit, swing unit, even exhausted into your opponent's stuff to control the board state, and they just can't attack the base. I think these are pretty nice. I think they allow for more control back and forth gameplay in Star Wars Unlimited. It's already well back and forth. Again, especially now with the hidden keyword, you can't even attack exhausted hidden keyword stuff, which I think I really like that the hidden is now a keyword in the game because I think it does really change up how you think about swinging into stuff for the game, especially with cards like Dogfight and Naiman Strike. Again, this is restrictive on the Force units, but again, congratulations, we got Force units from 4 sets now, folks. There's a lot of Force running around out here, not mentioning the entirety of this set is all about the Force. Anyways, finally we have Adi Gala. When your opponent plays an event, deal 1 damage to the player's base. I actually kind of like this, especially in like a blue strategy. Having to have them deal that 1 damage for just playing an event isn't all that bad. I think it's actually a pretty unique idea to like force your opponent to, if they like playing events, especially decks like yellow and blue that are event heavy deck strategies. Yeah, I think dealing that 1 extra damage to their base is not too bad, especially because if they say they don't have any heal or anything like that, there's a good chance that they will then be unable to heal that damage, and that damage pushes them further to being killed off for that game. So nonetheless, not a bad card. Overall, for Phase 2, there is a lot of good stuff coming right now out of this set. The bases look really neat. Like I said, I would like to do some testing with the rare bases a little bit. The commons, I could see a lot more play in the beginning until people really get their heads around what strategy is really good with the rare bases. Doom is going to be almost a staple in anything that can run blue or anything like that. I definitely run that. I like that we have a K turn for force units in red, just be able to get that extra more aggression on the board. playing force units and giving them shields, playing force units and giving them ambush, playing force units, giving yourself the force to play a force unit. I mean, it's not all bad. I mean, Ponkrell, I think, is going to be really good. Churrit's probably going to see some play. I do really think Luminous Binding is really going to help Green Heroic push for those endgame board states with that 4/4 on 3 different units, which I think 100% will be giving the endgame state, especially if you swing a couple units or deal some things and then you can have the necessary resources standing. I think this, then say your opponent claims and then you do this and then win the game. I think this 100% is going to clean up a lot of games and help Green push into the late game. Paladin, Corvette, Training Corvette, I really do feel like this is more of a Hera card than anything else, just because Hera has a good amount of force. But yeah, I like it red. I like Acolyte of the Beyond. I think that's a really good Cole card. I think we need other colors to get something like this, more than just relying on the base, especially for like units or decks that really aren't going to be playing force bases, even though I feel like right now a lot of everybody's going to be playing a force base. Yeah, Sith Holocron I think is pretty unique. I like the J-type Nubian Starship, the Young Padawan. I just wish it was like Acolyte of the Beyond. I don't really like it. Qui-Gon Jinn's Lightsaber. These two are really good right now. Cards for yellow. Kit Fisto's okay, janky leader. Yada, I think it's just going to be another one of those cards to just help blue restore. Soft control restore decks like Rey just get a whole lot better. The Ewoks, it's cool to see Ewoks in the game now. 9-Man Strike to help just keep board states under control. And then Adi Gyala, again, another card for Kit Fisto. I think having a way to just chip damage your opponent on their base for events, I don't think is half bad either. But yeah, we still haven't seen a lot in this, folks. We are currently at well over 60 cards. We are well over now 60 cards of, or 61 of 100. So we have 100 cards currently told to us of the game. So all of this is 100 cards of probably a 200 set. So we still have a lot to see revealed to us. I mean, the 19th, if you want to check it out, SWUBD DB is going to release 2 more cards on the 19th for us also. 2 more cards will be revealed to us. I still expect Cal Kestis to come into the game. We still haven't seen the droid, even though we have its promo already. So we still have Cal Kestis, in my opinion, I think is 100% getting a card in here. I think a Rey leader or a Rey card is probably going to come in. Maybe be like what Kylo is, like where Kylo's mono villainy. Maybe Rey will just be mono heroic. So yeah, I could see that. I mean, we still have a lot more time before Legends of the Force. But let me know your thoughts, guys, down in the comments. What cards are you hyped for now for Legends of the Force? Let me know what cards you think are going to be next up for Legends of the Force. And let me know what cards you are hoping are going to be in Legends of the Force, or hoping come in future sets with what we're seeing for Legends of the Force. Like I said, I think a Dark Nihilus card is well in the future, especially now that we are in Legends timelines. I also think, without a doubt, if we're in Legend timeline, I want a Legends Luke leader, because Legends Luke is absolutely different than Canon Luke. Legend Luke is just overpowered. Yeah, let me know all that down in the comments. And while you're commenting, do make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so you're notified when my videos go live for you, and we'll see you here next time on Mom Dragons TCG.